Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here, and today we are talking about the rehydration of dehydrated beans and whether or not pressure cooked beans, which have been dehydrated, rehydrate better than boiled beans, which have been rehydrated. Wow, that took forever to get right. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Vegan Prepper. Vegan Prepper. Okay, so here we have some black beans which have been boiled and black beans which were pressure cooked, and then both were dehydrated, and now we're going to give a test. So the boiled beans are in the blue bowl and the pressure cooked beans are in the purple bowl, as a visual way of me keeping things on track in case they kind of get mixed. But basically it's 1/4 cup of each in these bowls, and I just also want to show a little bit of the difference. So the pressure cooked beans look, to my eye, look like they're more, they stay together more. They're not quite as split. Whereas the boiled beans look like they have split apart quite a lot more. They've broken apart quite a bit during the dehydration process. And so let's go ahead and get some boiled water onto these. And that is what we're testing. So we're testing the instant style rehydration. And I'm going to try my best to get the water levels pretty even. And then we'll let these sit and marinate for a little while. And we'll talk about, why is this even a question? Okay, so why are we even asking this question, in case, you know, some of you might be wondering? Well, as vegans, I'm sure if you are vegan, or even if you're not, welcome, but especially as vegans, it's really hard to find pre-packed instant type foods that you can take with you in, say, a bug out scenario, or even just camping or whatever. So basically we have to rely upon ourselves to create those foods until they are made more readily available to us. And so many years ago, actually way before I was ever vegan, but when I very first started getting into dehydration, I read on backpackingchef.com, which is still actually just an incredible resource, especially if you want instant style meals for bug out type situations. Again, you know, we don't have to go through it all again, but basically he has a lot of really great information, but I can't find the page I saw originally. And if I do find it, I will link it down below. He was talking about dehydrating beans, and he said specifically on that page that pressure cooked beans, or the ones that you get from the store, which have also been essentially pressure cooked, they dehydrate and then rehydrate better than beans that have just been boiled on the stove. And that was just from his experience. And I had no reason really to question that until I started this channel, and I got some people asking, well, what about boiled? Can you just do beans that you've boiled on the stove? And I'm just saying that's just the information that I have heard, but I decided to go ahead, now that I have some beans that I dehydrated, which were boiled, I can do the test now. So they're both the same black beans from the same bag. They were just prepared differently. And so the only difference between these beans is the fact that one was boiled on the stove instead of pressure cooked. Definitely when you pressure cook things, it's a little different than just boiling on the stove. The pressure in and of itself seems to break things down a little bit more. You know, like you get potatoes coming out of the Instant Pot tasting almost like they've already got butter on them, even though they don't have anything on them. Whoa, that was a jar lid popping. But they don't have anything on them, but they taste almost like they've got butter already. They're so silky smooth, and it's just something about that pressure cooking process. And that's the only thing that I can think of, is there's just a difference in the processing and in the way that the food gets cooked, which makes it somehow, I don't know, more broken down or something, so that it is easier both to dehydrate, because remember we were looking and seeing that the black beans, the dehydrated black beans that were pressure cooked, seem to hold together more. You just see a lot more white in this jar. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing a lot more insides of beans in the boiled jar versus in the jar of the beans that were pressure cooked. So that cooking process, it allows them to give up their liquid maybe more easily, so that when they get dehydrated, they don't just all completely burst. And then subsequently, it also allows liquid to go back into them more easily, something about the structure. And so these are definitely not going to, they're not really going to be yielding a lot of whole beans. Probably it's going to be a lot more mushy beans, but hey, if it works, it still works. So that's what we're testing here, to see if they will rehydrate well, so that you will know that even if you don't have a pressure cooker, you can still try to dehydrate up some beans that will rehydrate well in an instant way. And so if it doesn't work as an instant thing, then we'll have to test how well does it rehydrate if you go ahead and put it on a stove, maybe with some heat underneath boiling, because that's definitely two completely different things there. And so I'm testing, like I said, how they behave in the instant style, because that's how I want to be able to use them more, to be able to take them with me, again, bug out bag, 72-hour bucket, camping, backpacking, even just out into the backyard. But when you think about it too, doing instant style meals is also a really great way to potentially do much more covert cooking. If you were in a situation where you needed to hide the fact that you were cooking food, you know, you have an instant meal packed in a Mylar bag. If you have like a little alcohol burner, you don't even give off smoke or fumes, and you can just light enough of a fire to boil water and then dump it in a bag, close it, and then put your fire out, and then after a little while you have a meal. It's much more covert. And so I don't know, who knows, there may be ever a situation that you might want that. But yeah, let's go ahead and I will stop talking, because I'm pretty sure I've covered everything pretty well, and we'll just come back to what the results are. All right, so because my talking head video was about 5 minutes long, we know that this has been sitting now for about 5 minutes. So this is the difference between the pressure cooked black beans and the boiled black beans after about 5 minutes of rehydration. I'm gonna give them about 5 more minutes before I go ahead and come in here with a spoon and do a taste test. Okay, so here we are at 10 minutes, and I have turned on my ring light. Sorry, you can see the reflection. I don't know anything about fancy lighting, but basically you can see the difference between the two. So these are the pressure cooked, again, they're in the purple, and then these are the boiled, they're in the blue. And so I think it is time to go ahead and dig in and let you guys see what happens when I put a spoon in. So I haven't even like stuck a spoon in, but we're gonna see. Oh yeah, look at how broken up that is. There's a ton of bean stuff floating into the water. But of course, that doesn't really matter. What matters is the taste and how well rehydrated these are. So these actually do look, they look pretty good, but you see there's a lot of empty husks. Do you see where there are skins without bean inside? So that is interesting. And now let's see with the pressure cooked beans, what are we looking at? Okay, same thing. There's definitely some bean matter floating around in here as well. And we're looking, let me sort of scoop out a little bit more. And I'm not seeing a ton of empty skins. Oh wait, there's some right there. There's a few right there. But I don't know, just like from my eye overall, it would seem, oh, there's some empty skin right there. It seems like these might have stayed together more, but maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Well, you guys can kind of draw your own conclusions from what you're seeing when I am picking up spoonfuls. And then we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste test. All right. Okay, so let's see what we've got. And just, I guess I will test the boiled ones first. I have had rehydrated pressure cooked black beans plenty of times. So I kind of already know what those are like, but let me try the one that I'm not 100% sure of. So I've got the blue bowl here. I'm gonna drain off some of the excess liquid. I also didn't flavor these at all. We're just testing the rehydration. So this is not going to be the most flavorful, amazing thing I've ever eaten in my life, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. It's, gosh, how do I express it? I definitely am tasting tons of skins. Like, I feel like I'm chewing on nothing but skins. Even the ones that still had bean inside of them, I feel like what I'm mainly getting right now is the skin. Okay. There was one that was still intact, and still it's just very chewy, very much tasting skin. Like, very different texture to what I'm used to with the rehydrated, dehydrated black beans. All right, let me try the pressure cooked ones and see if it's any different. Because actually, I have had these before, like in a meal type thing, but I've never just eaten them plain, like a big spoonful on their own. So I'm going to be very interested now to see if there is any kind of difference in texture between these and the others. Yeah, it's immediate. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I was curious about whether or not there would be a difference, but there is really a difference. Backpacking Chef was totally right. So yeah. I mean, they're obviously not flavored at all, and they're kind of, you know, they're kind of overly soft. But yeah, that is just like chewing on skins. The skins are still there, but it's not like it just feels more like eating like really soft beans versus just chewing on skins. So wow, that is quite a difference. I was honestly not expecting it to be that different. So yes, I would say pressure cooked black beans are clearly the winner on the rehydration front. However, the boiled black beans, dehydrated then rehydrated, these are not inedible by any means. These are still something that you could eat if you had to, but I definitely prefer the texture and taste of the pressure cooked beans. You know, another thing that might help is if you actually did have flavoring in the water. I think that's one of the things that I love the most about the dehydrated instant meals and then rehydrating them is when you flavor the water, or even if you heat up a broth instead of using just plain water, the dehydrated food, when it rehydrates, also sucks flavor into itself, and so you end up with something that's really highly flavored and quite good. So obviously these were just plain water, and probably some flavor on those boiled beans would be much appreciated. But yeah, there's a major difference. So definitely pressure cooked beans, 100% for the win. That it's a remarkable difference. And so yeah, there is officially a difference, and the pressure cooked beans are officially better. That being said, this is not something that is, again, inedible. It's perfectly, you can eat it. It rehydrated that you could eat it. So if this is the only option you have, go for it. I think it still could be good. The other thing, so what I'm thinking of now is I've seen a lot of people doing stuff where they powder their beans and then turn it into like an instant hummus or something. So I think that that's what I'm going to end up doing with these boiled beans. I'm just going to go ahead and powder them and then add, you know, a bunch of, I don't know, cumin and stuff. I don't really have a recipe. This is just an idea. Mexican style spices, and then maybe make something hopefully that would end up being almost like an instant refried bean dip type thing. So these are definitely not going to go to waste. I'm going to try that out and see if that works out better. But yeah, there you go. There's the test and the official word. I wish you could have tested with me. But yeah, I guess that will be it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.